So we get an Earl track. Wow, I am so not used to this. I feel like every time we get an Earl track, it's because we know that there's an album coming up. We're not really used to these loosies coming from Earl, but wow, I'm all for it. Here we have Maxo as a feature. We have Alchemist on the beat. I mean, this really couldn't be bad. And heading into this, I knew there was no chance I wouldn't at least enjoy this. And what we got was pretty fucking solid. I did have a few flaws with the track, but there wasn't too many. But I'll get into this a little bit later. So the song starts off with Maxo, and I really enjoyed his verse. The constant themes of self-doubt really, I think, set the tone for the track, because it is a very dark track. Despite with how smooth and how groovy the beat may be, this is definitely a very fucking dark track. When you hear the line, "Eyes to my feet, can't stand what I see," I love that line. But yeah, a lot of constant self-doubt imagery throughout. Maxo's not really sure what he wants to do next with his life. So yeah, very dark to start off the track. But wow, when we get to Earl's verse, that's fucking darkness. I mean, I'm one of those people that thought some rap songs was actually a more uplifting experience instead of a more depressive downtone experience. I feel like it was someone reflecting on their depression and showing the listener how they've evolved, what lessons they've learned, and how they've grown as a person. I thought that was what some rap songs was about. And it was interesting to me to see what direction Earl was going to go in. Was he going to continue to move in a more uplifting direction? Or was he going to go into the direction that he seems to be heading in, which is just darkness, which is really the only word I can think of. Earl sounds clearer than we've heard him in years, since like the I Don't Like Shit era. But wow, when you hear the lines, "I finished what I started, the funeral was hella long," it really goes to show that it's safe to say that Earl still isn't in the best place. But then we get to my favorite line when he says, "Feeling anxious, moving at a pallbearer's pace." I mean, this might be darker than even some of the shit that he did in I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside. Earl really doesn't sound like he's in a good place at all. And it's interesting how he decided to not experiment so much with the mixing, which is something that we've seen him do so much recently. And when he really wants to show off the depression and the emotion behind his words, he'll really experiment with the mixing, so you can really feel the sadness that he feels inside. But he decided to tone that back, which is interesting because within his verse is actually one of the darkest and most depressive verses that we've gotten in recent memory, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, I thought both Maxo and Earl delivered. I definitely think Maxo gave Earl a run for his money. So yeah, the only real gripe I would have with this is in the production side of things. I thought the beat was a little bit too simple, a little bit too minimal, and I know that Alchemist is like the genius of simple production. And I think he really shows how much diversity you can have with simplicity, which is something that I've always appreciated with Alchemist, but I still feel like there wasn't enough here. And I remember when East came out and everybody lost their fucking shit at that fucking accordion, I actually thought it was kind of interesting, but the real problem that I had with that song was just how minimal that beat was. I really didn't think there was much to it, and I could have really used some additions, some extra horns or some extra drums or some extra vocals with a sample, really anything, but it was just a broken fucking accordion and it wasn't too interesting. While there is some grooviness and a very smooth vibe to this beat, I still don't feel like it was enough, and it doesn't really seem stuck in my head, and it's a little bit forgettable. It still rides very well, thankful to the great fucking verses that we got, but I feel like from Alchemist I expected just a little bit more. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say on that. Really great fucking track. Super excited to see where Earl continues to go. I think he just continues to prove why he's just one of the brightest and most creative minds in hip-hop for this generation. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Please like, please subscribe, please share. I'll be with y'all very soon. Peace.